Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have been following along with the other videos. That's going to be the assumptions, so I don't want to repeat myself. So I grabbed the code that we left off with last time, minus all the comments, and I've pasted it here because we're going to paste all this into our AI tools. These are the instructions. We're telling them we have a browser-based game. The full code is below. Briefly, what would be the easiest way to add history to the game? In other words, last time you guessed in Xmove. No code yet, just explain. All right, for this particular bit of research, I did pull up all three AI tools. So let's see what they have to say. Starting with ChatGPT and not going to explain it much. It says the easiest approach is local storage. All right. Local storage. Let's see what Gemini has to say. It also says local storage. All right. Microsoft Copilot, local storage. So cool. We're going to use that. We'll let them do that for us. Now, I've been burned so many times when using AI that I get to be a little anal about it, OCD maybe, I don't know. So I'm actually pasting the code again. This is the code that we're going to paste. And let's scroll to the bottom. And I put some instructions. So I want the full file back, minimal changes, add the ability to remember the number of attempts in previous game. When a page first loads, if there is a previous, that could be a message in the same area where all the other messages are displayed. So we're going to copy that. And this time I reduced it to down just ChatGPT. You're not going to worry about the other ones. We're going to hit enter. And we're going to see what it has to say. Here are the minimal changes. What was added, it explained it in case you want to read it. There's the file. We're going to copy that. Okay, so we created the new file. This one does not have history. This should be the same thing with just the history. We should do a code compare. All right, so this is from our last video, no history. This is the new one. Okay, so that has to do with the message for sure. Look, there's the use of local storage right there. Get item. And otherwise, whatever. Does it save it? Look, okay, you see, this is not perfect. In our current version, there were 3 spaces. It lost them. No big deal. Okay, there's the set. So a little bit of programming here, right? Get from local storage, if there's one there, and set local storage. Oh, look, it forgot the comment. So you can see that sometimes it forgets stuff. All right, let's run this thing in a browser. Let's pull that up here. Let's blow this up. This is our first attempt. There's no message, so here we go. Let's do 1, too low, 100, too high, 50, too high, 30, 20, 10, too low, where is it? Oh, geez. Correct. Okay. It says number of attempts 13. So now what we're going to do, we should be able to refresh the page and it should just tell us that from last game. Let's see what happens. Oh, good. Look, there you go. Last game, 13 attempts. All right, let's do it again. 50. Let's try to beat it. Too low. 75. Too high. 63. Too high. 55. Too low. 59. Correct. 5 attempts. Let's refresh the page. That's correct. Okay, for the last part, you could, if you weren't watching this video, you could just ask the question of the AI tools, right? You could ask, hey, how can I look behind the scenes, behind the curtain? Where is this local storage? What is that, right? But since I'm here, we're just going to jump in. So go to any browser, top right, Firefox, Brave, Chrome, whatever. Go to more tools down here. It's off the screen. And then where is it? Web developer tools right there. And let's blow this up. Okay. Now console. Okay. And type in local storage. There it is. We don't have to do anything else. There it is. And if you want to prove that, what we can do is local storage clear. Yes, clear. We'll do it. Up arrow. Nothing there. So now we will refresh. Notice that last time we used it, it says 5 attempts. I'm going to refresh the page and that should go away like it never happened, like we've never played. And there it is. All right, I want to introduce one last thing before we end this video. If you notice, this file has 3 parts, right? There's the styling. By the way, I should have done this, but if you comment out the entire styling area and leave everything else, the game will still work, but it'll look horrendous. It'll look terrible. So the styling is what gives it all, it's pretty, right? And then that's part 1. Part 2 are the actual elements that you see. The buttons, the inputs, the message, the title and all that mess. And then the third part is the actual programming logic, right? So there's 3 different parts. So what I want to do is tell ChatGPT, take this exact code, no changes, except I want to separate everything out, right? All the styling in a file, games, CSS, all the HTML presentation in game HTML, and all the JavaScript in game JS. So we're going to paste that into chat. All right, here we go. It says it split it for us. So first, game HTML. Let's copy that. Let's do a compare. This is our original. We're going to paste that in. Now, notice something here. All of the style went away. Okay, and it became a link to a file by that name that we have to create. Okay, let's keep going. Let's take the next one, which is what? Game CSS. So this is the styling. So we're going to copy that. We're going to compare it. Now, so these code compare tools are not perfect, right? So sometimes they make it look harder than it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to paste that. Okay, so it figured itself out. Notice that the only difference is just the indentation. Okay, now this looks a little interesting because I think it's the indentation. What if we do this? Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, you'll have to play with it, but so far, I'm not going to go into it, but if this was critical code, if this was like production code, you would have to try to make sure, is it in fact the same exact thing? We're not going to go any further. You get the point. You have to compare the 3 different parts against the original. I guess what we could have done is just copied the, apples to apples, only apples to apples. But what I want to show you is, so we already saw this, how all that styling was reduced to 1 line, and it references an external file, right? And then that's the presentation, that's properly the HTML. And then the script also was reduced to 1 line, and all the JavaScript now goes into game.js. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is run it. This would be the one that we run with the browser. And let's hope everything works like it used to. Okay, so far so good. Well, we know the styling is correct. It looks correct. So let's just play with it real quick. Too low, 50, too high, 30, too high, 20, too high, 15, too low, 17, too high, 16, correct. 7 attempts. Last, okay. So it worked. Okay, I think that we have beat this horse to death. We learned about file compare, separating out the different parts of the code into different files. We looked at DevTools console in the browser. We looked at local storage. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we're going to move on to something else in the next video.